Hey there, paisanos. Welcome to another coffee break, the first of 2020. We're glad to be back. Glad to have you back. Today, actually, hold on. I'm waiting for my stream to catch up. I want to make sure that the audio is good. And it can be a little slow, and it looks like it's loading. You know what? We're gonna trust. We're going to trust but confirm. So hopefully it'll show up and confirm to us that audio is working well. So today we're going to play some Peggle. Audio is working. Thanks, SNES. Welcome to it's just my crap phone that's just not working. Okay, so today we're going to play Peggle. To be honest with you, what I want to play today, and what I'm going to play in a few weeks, is a game that I played over the break and I had a lot of fun with. Was called Yuko's Island Express. It's a game where you are a little dung beetle, and the method of getting around is sort of not ping pong, but pinballing with flippers. And one of the games that it made me think of was games like Peggle, and these sort of more casual games. So we're gonna start sort of this multi-week sort of exploration of that game, starting with another game, and that's Peggle. So yeah, let's go. Okay, we're gonna start with adventure. So if you don't know, Peggle, my God, I don't know exactly when it came out. 2006 maybe. It's a PopCap game. One of the first sort of. I don't know if that's true. I was gonna say one of the first sort of big casual games when that was sort of part of the zeitgeist. But now that I think about it, I don't know if that's true, and I don't know if I want to make that claim. Am I gonna hit this? Damn. So maybe funnily enough. Oh, good. So good. Okay, cool. So funnily enough, my first experience with Peggle was while I was playing World of Warcraft. There was an add-on that when you could play Peggle as you were sort of in the game world, sort of. I mean, it was a screen. But you could play when you were bored, or I used it for flight paths. Peggle and Bejeweled, I think. Which is sort of interesting, I think, to think about playing games while while you have downtime in other games, games within games, gameception. I'm sort of just shooting all willy-nilly here. I'm not really paying attention. 9 pegs to go. I've got 7 balls left. I know if I hit it in the hole, if you're not familiar with Peggle, I get a free ball. So a little bit like pinball there. Boom. There we go. All right. The blue pegs give me points, but aren't necessarily that important to me. Hallelujah. This game, my God, I've done it. Cool. Yeah, this game makes you feel good about winning. Cool, okay. Next level. This level has bricks. Clear the orange bricks and orange pegs to pass the level. SNES tells me it's a little loud. Yeah. They want you to feel good about winning. I was worried that would be too loud, but also sort of I wanted you to experience. Okay. Hopefully that's better. All right. Okay. Yeah, getting stuff done. Damn. So one of the interesting things I think about about casual games like this is it's well, I mean, you know, basically the gendered aspect of it, right? Of course, a casual game is to set a game apart, or set a player apart, I suppose, from the oft-cited hardcore gamer, which, you know, whatever that means. And that's typically, you know, divided by gender. That runs along gender lines. Who is hardcore gaming, and who is a casual gamer. And there's been some really interesting things written about it, particularly about time and gaming and gender. I was reading an article by what was her name? Anna Cameron. And she does a really good job of sort of tracing the scholarship that was done around ways that women are marginalized in game culture, right? And part of that is this distinction between casual gaming and hardcore gaming, particularly in just the amount of time oh yeah, get the 100,000. Yes. I'm the greatest. I got a fever, and the only thing that can cure it is Ode to Joy. Okay, but anyway, she talked about like 3 ways that women are marginalized in gaming culture, and not just in games themselves, but the culture that surrounds it. And part of that is through time, right? Because they typically have less leisure time to devote to really long sessions of gaming. And, you know, like, I want to emphasize typically, because obviously, you know, I don't want to speak in complete generalities and platitudes for everyone, but I mean, just the way that work and labor is typically divided. You know, women disproportionately spend more time caring for others, whether that's childcare or just work in the home. So, you know, of course they're going to have less time to devote to long, the fine-tuned shot. Oh, with my mouse wheel. Oh, that's nice. Let's try to hit that. All right. Nope. Nope. Right there. Oh. Trying to do that and then move my finger to click the button. Oh shit. It was kind of difficult. Yeah. What was I talking about? Yeah, so they spend more time, you know, generally, disproportionately at least, compared to your average American male. And I guess I should claim that I'm only speaking of American culture, that which I know. Than men, right? So, you know, what little gaming they do sort of has to be sort of here and there, little snippets of games. She also talks, and I think this is really interesting, she talks about the ways that not only sort of this division of labor and time, but also the ways that gaming systems and technology are coded typically as for males, right? I mean, even, you know, you can look at basically any. Oh, so bad. You can look at any console advertising, particularly in the 90s and early 2000s. And I mean, you know, of course it is for boys. And she points to Henry Jenkins' work on Pink games is sort of evidence that, while game developers can sort of make games that are about girls' interests, like, playing house or riding horses, it sort of I don't know, underlines this industry concept, this belief that games don't sort of interest girls in an a priori sort of sense, right? Like, girls can be interested in games about horse riding, but not about games. And then finally, sort of, she talks about, of course, the ways that just the gaming content, right? See Anita Sarkeesian's work there, right? Tropes Against Women or whatever. The gaming stuff is for the boys. And anyway, yeah. So I find this sort of space. I find that this space is gendered to be incredibly interesting, and also, of course, patently absurd. I'm enjoying this game, as much as I imagine one can enjoy it. It's fun. It's, pretty mindless. I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm aiming for the things and hoping for the best. And, there's not a lot of, I don't want to say there's not a lot of skill, but yeah, goddammit, there's not a lot of skill expression here, right? Of course, I can, particularly with this, it doesn't take a lot to hit this, because goddammit, it's going to tell me that it's going to hit it. That was, of course, all skill, but, they don't all have to be. I'm kidding. That was, of course, a happy little accident. Wait, I wasn't paying attention. What do these pink do? So this says, perhaps part of the definition has to do with how player identifies with the experience of playing. A hardcore gamer makes the game part of their identity, whereas often it seems like the casual gamer does not. Yeah. Then I don't think that's a good thing, right? There's no other sort of media that someone takes on as such an integral part of their identity. You don't hear about filmers or, I'm a TVer. You're not a real TVer. I'm a hardcore TVer. Yeah, I don't know. I think you're absolutely right, but I think that's part of the problem, Yeah, the whole, I don't know. On the other show that I do, Couch Surfing, I typically start asking, I like to ask particularly new guests if they consider themselves gamers. And I hate that question because I hate that sort of term to describe yourself. But it's shorthand, sort of cultural shorthand for do you play games? Maybe do you play games a lot, because we all play games. But I think, games like this, people who think they don't like video games play a lot of. They could spend hours playing this and not really think of this as playing a video game. My partner, for instance, Dr. Amber Strother from Marquette University, plays a lot of bubble pop. I don't know. Sorry. You know what I'm talking about, though. One of those bubble pop games. But I don't think she would consider herself, I would have to ask her, a person who plays a lot of games. Because it's played in sort of these incremental, like while she's watching TV at night before we go to bed, or like while she's on the bus or waiting for something, right? Sort of these little pockets of time that you can steal away while either doing something else or waiting for something else or what have you. Hey, yeah, thanks, SNES, for tuning in, and I'll see you in a little while. So he says, I'm not sure that is true, and I'm not sure what he's talking about. Think of fans of specific shows like RuPaul's Drag Race or something. Fans of them seem to make them part of their identity. But not in the same way, not in the same degree. And I mean, you know, like, that's a particular piece of content, not a whole, like, I don't know, I'm a gamer. They might not be defined as hardcore TV watchers, but they fulfill a similar niche. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll have to disagree there. I think, and maybe it's a difference of degree, in a large degree, than one of kind. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think the degree is such that it's almost a difference of kind. Okay. What was I talking about? I don't know. It doesn't matter. What level I'm on? Stage 1 of 5. No, stage 1 of 5. I'm finding it very hard to not talk about the game that I actually want to be playing today, Yoku's Island Express, because I think a lot of the things that I'm saying about casual games, that game does a really interesting job of disrupting. Alright, well, let's just hit that because it's in the damn way. Oh no! Oh no! This is my last ball! Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh my god! Yes! 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 This game has just a tremendous game feel to it, which is really interesting, right? Because, I mean, I think of game feel as, you know, the way Mario feels running around, or, you know, sort of the way the physics play out in a game world. But, you know, like that zoom in and the slow motion and then the big explosion and there's no, I mean, you know, maybe if you're playing with a controller there's some rumble or something, but yeah, I don't know. It feels good. Alright. A fresh student. Are you ready for multi-ball? Yes, it's pretty extreme, but you look like you can handle it, because I'm a hardcore gamer. Use it early for mad points to hit both green pegs in one shot for some massively multi-ballular action. Come on, let's do it. Okay, okay, sorry. My multi-ball pops an extra ball out of the green peg when you hit it. It's radically amazing. Okay, so, I mean, do I want to save them, or do they keep popping up? I mean, maybe it makes more sense to do it sooner rather than later because I have so many pegs. Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. That was totally radical. Damn. All right, yeah, that was well worth it. Damn. I wanted you. I got nothing. Well, that was a bummer. Shit, I got 5 balls left and so many more pegs to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. All right. I'm probably boned here, but I haven't lost one yet. I don't know what happens when you lose. Damn. Yes. So another thing that I was thinking about with casual games, particularly in the way that they sort of suck time, is the way that we can think about them as labor. And, you know, maybe not particularly this one, but I'm thinking particularly of games that, usually mobile games, right? Because that's where most of these types of games are. Back to that sort of, you know, the machines, the tech being coded as masculine. These games, these femininized games, are typically found on phones and laptops, right? Like more personal machines. The drum roll too. It's very like, yes, I did it. Boop. Yeah. Okay. So, hit the green peg on the left side to make the multi-ball pop out the right side. What? Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, on the left side of the peg. I thought it meant on the left side of the screen, and that was completely fucking terrible. Yeah, okay. So I was also reading this work by Robert Meja and Ergen Bullet, and I'm probably butchering those names, but and I'm sorry. And they wrote this really interesting article. I'm not sure if I totally buy it, but there were some interesting ideas, and I thought they made their case well enough. That it's about what they call cruel optimism in casual games, and the way that casual games in particular sort of reinforce neoliberal and neo-colonial ideologies and systems of power anyway. They look at games, the game Clash of Clans, I think, is what it's called, in particular, and think about the ways that players are not only sort of, I don't want to say forced to play, but, you know, there's certainly sort of this mechanic in these types of games where you not only can you only play for so long and then you have to wait, but if you don't play for so long, if you don't reopen your app, then you could lose things. Like I think with Clash of Clans, you could lose. That was terrible. You could lose territories, or if it's I don't know, a farm bill, maybe you die, maybe your crops die. All right. Oh, wait, another free ball? No, I just want a free ball. And in this article, they're talking about they're talking about this casualization of play, and that they're really sort of questioning whether industry and academic sort of research isn't being a little bit uncritical of play as a play as a innately sort of good thing in and of itself. All right, let's see what happens when you fail. You just get to retry level. I think I think Peggle maybe is early enough that it didn't really sort of it wasn't developed when a lot of these strategies were dreamed up by the evil game makers of those kind of things. But I think it's a pretty typical mode of being for most of these quote unquote casual games, particularly sort of the free to play but pay to win almost kind of things, or pay to speed things up so you don't have to wait. Yeah, and they talk about it. They talk about it in terms of what they call, well, what somebody calls, I couldn't quite remember where they got this idea, but of cruel optimism. And it's this idea that these games are presented as ways to sort of escape from reality, or find some bit of hope, and maybe mastery over a system, but instead, the game itself is also, it presents the opportunity for that, but it also sort of frustrates the completion of that through its game mechanics. And they make a really pretty strong argument about how that imposes certain ideologies that are more in line with neoliberal economics, and particularly in the case of Clash of Clans, sort of neo-colonial ideology that the player is sort of, perhaps uncritically, I guess we can't say uncritically for sure, but perhaps uncritically performing over and over and over and over and over again, sort of on a daily basis, maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day. Of course, I would argue, I think that casual games maybe don't have anything over, typical games in that respect. Most games, particularly AAA games, are about war or shooting or taking over some sort of territory. But I think maybe the interesting thing to think about casual games is that it's presented almost as not play. Damn. Oh my god. I thought I was gonna get it. So close. One peg again. Do I have... Okay. I don't know if I have, lives or whatever, or if I just keep playing. Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know. For something that isn't, considered to be part of the gaming fucking landscape by some people, there's certainly... I just realized I'm, covering my mouth a lot. I hope you can hear me. Lots to think about, and things that could ultimately, say a lot about the gaming industry and gaming culture as a whole, not just sort of casual games. And again, I bring up a lot of these because I feel like, when I'm going to play Sonic Spinball next week, another game that Yuko's Island Express reminded me of quite a bit. And when I get to Yuko, I really want to think about the ways that it is maybe playing with some of these conventions of casual games, but doing so in a way that's maybe not so casual. All right. Did they have less orange pegs this time, or did I just do a really good job the first few balls? Totally on purpose there. Damn. I'm really excited to see what Dave thinks of some of this. He is going to start a new stream on, I think, Fridays soon, once we get some equipment together. The focus is on mobile games, and of course, like I was saying, mobile games fall into a lot of these things that we're talking about with casual games. All right, 3 balls left, I think. Oh my god, come on. Oh my god. Well, now I kind of just want to use this ball to get that out of the way, but damn, I wasn't really paying attention. I think right here. Let's go right there. Yeah. I'll take 50,000. Beaver score! Instant replay, like there's some elements of esports even. The instant replay, the slow motion, it reminds me a lot of sports coverage anyway. How are we doing on time? We have a little bit of time left. I'm going to end the stream a little early today because we're getting together for a Serious Play meeting, but let's leave a little bit of time. Maybe I can get a few. More stages down the line. Oh, okay. When I fill that up, I get a free ball. So even though I didn't catch one. Boink. There's also been several newer versions of Peggle come out since this was released, and like I chose this because it was free on Origin, and because I've played it before. Whatever, it seemed to be sort of a vanilla experience. But I'd be really interested to see if some of the more modernized game design practices and techniques haven't made their way into the newer Peggles. And maybe the ones that you purchase on the PC or on a gaming console are a little different. If anyone has ever played Peggle, like a mobile version of Peggle, I'd be interested to see if there's a limit on balls for the day, or how many levels you can beat in a particular amount of time. It's such a sweet guitar riff. Oh, so close. So close! I mean, I want that pink one. Whatever. Oh wow, this is worth a lot more when it's hit after the fact. I'm so skilled at this game. I'm just so skilled. So, yeah, like I keep talking about Yuko, even though I told myself I wouldn't. But like I mentioned earlier, it's sort of, it plays with the mechanics of pinball. And obviously this isn't all that pinball-y, except for that you have a ball and you're bouncing around on things trying to get points. This is sort of pinballish. But I think it's still sort of thinking about. I'm joking about being so skilled at this game, but I think and maybe I'm just really bad at pinball. But I think they both sort of get at this, low skill expression, high luck factor. And maybe that's not true. Maybe I'm sure there are some very skilled Peggle gamers out there, hardcore Peggle gamers. That can essentially clear a board in 2 shots or whatever. But it also kind of seems like it's so static. It's not like things are moving around. That if that's the case, then you can go watch someone do it, figure out exactly how they line their ball up, and then follow through pretty quickly. So I'm not I don't know, skill maybe, but rote memorization maybe more so. Damn. Heartbreaking. Yeah, I feel like I had like 3 thoughts going on there. Yeah, so I've got, I feel like when I play pinball, I slap it around, I pull the thing, I shoot the ball off, it bounces on some things, and then, maybe I can hit it with the flapper, or maybe it goes where I want it to go, or where I would at least like it to go. But more often than not, it doesn't. And I feel like it's very much a chance game, and I don't know. I really think I don't understand pinball because I know people who like it. Fuck, that was quick. Last ball already, and I goofed. Damn, that was close. It wasn't so close that I got a slow motion though. But yes, that was one of sort of my sort of associations that I had while I was playing the other game with this game. Just sort of that feeling of popping a ball off and hoping for the best, and maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. But not being terribly concerned with expressing my skill, which is both sort of it could be frustrating, but it's also sort of liberating. Like, you know, like I didn't do so hot there, but really, you know, it was pretty low stakes for me, for my sense of self and self-worth as a player of the game. You know, just sort of bad luck. Also, maybe sort of how I feel about PUBG when I play it. You know, that game is can be so hectic that, you know, if you get a kill, cool, well done. If not, that guy shot you out of nowhere. There was no chance you were going to see that guy. Oh. All right, I got 5 left. Totally radical. It's amazing this game wasn't made in the 90s. Because it's a 90s game. You know, thinking back to my comment earlier about people who play games that for hours that wouldn't consider themselves gamers or even people who like video games. I can distinctly remember my mom playing a collection of what we would call casual games. They were kind of mini games based on Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King. So this is like back in the mid-90s. On a laptop for hours, you know, like while she was watching TV, she played the shit out of that, and you know, she would play Mario Brothers with us on the on the Nintendo, but that was kind of, to my knowledge, about her extent of gaming experience. But yet, you know, like she played these casual games a lot. And probably didn't think of them as video games. I'd have to ask her. I'd have to go back in time and ask her, are you playing a video game? Alright, this might be our last set of balls here. Which is fine because, yeah, I mean, like, I'm having a good time, but, you know, this game, by design, can only really hold attention for a little while, you know? I guess by design. Probably. So skilled. So skilled. So skilled. I wanted to. I'm sure someone can do it. I probably messed up by sort of already knocking out some blocks there. Yeah. Oh man, I might get it. Nope. I think I am gonna beat this level though. Then again, maybe not. Oh shit, that was my last ball. This is my last ball. No! Alright, well, never a better time to stop than after you've failed miserably. Thanks for tuning in to this first episode of of Coffee Break for the year 2020. Even though it's abbreviated, I had a lot of fun. I hope you had a lot of fun. And catch us next week at 10:30. See you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.